It is championship weekend here in the NFL. For the AFC, the battle of the MVPs, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. Who's going to be coming out on top over there? In the NFC, do the Detroit Lions make their way to their very first Super Bowl? Or does Brock Purdy show up and show why he was an MVP candidate this season? Whoever you're rooting for, whoever you're betting on, we're going to break down both matchups right now. Yo, what is going on, Headliner Nation? Hopefully everybody is doing well out there today. Last weekend, I wasn't able to join you. I was under the weather and Jake had to handle it on his own. I am feeling better, not quite 100% yet, and you might be able to hear that in my voice, but Jake's not here this weekend, so I'm flying solo. And last week, Taylor did a great job finding a really good picture of me to toss up on the screen. Well, you know what? We got to do the same thing to Jake. So, Taylor, what do you got for me this week? What can you throw together to have Jake on the screen while we break this down? That's perfect, Taylor. Now, the early game on Sunday is going to be Kansas City and Baltimore. Weather-wise, it may not end up being too bad. There's a slight chance that we could see some rain pop up during the game, but not a monsoon. Nothing crazy that would really affect the action all that much. Temperatures are going to be hovering right around the 50 mark, and the wind isn't going to be all that bad either. But right now, Baltimore is considered favorites at 3.5 points. This should end up being a great game. You've got the Baltimore Ravens, who this season were by and large the best team in the NFL. Some of the top teams this year had some up and down moments, but when you look at the whole body of work that Baltimore put together, they just seem to be at their best all season long. Defensively, they're strong. Offensively, they're strong. Lamar Jackson probably going to win the MVP award this year, and he absolutely looked the part all season long. Baltimore is in a great position, but it's Kansas City. Kansas City's been the cream of the crop for the last several years, especially in the AFC, and they're battle-tested. They have been in this position so many times since they drafted Patrick Mahomes. It's really, really tough to argue against one of the best teams when it comes to playoff performances over the last several years. Now, playing on the road isn't something that they're as used to as maybe in the past because they've been a top seed for so long now, but Baltimore on the road, it's going to be a really tough environment. Will it be more tough than what we saw last week against Buffalo? Maybe, but Baltimore is also going to present a stronger opposition than what Buffalo did as well. Now, I know y'all are going to be looking for some pick'ems to potentially put down in this game. So once again, I used our friends over at Odds Jam to try and figure out a couple of pick'ems that I'm really liking in this matchup for several reasons. And if you're interested in looking at the same information that I use to try and find my best pick'ems throughout the week, make sure you head on over to Odds Jam. If you get signed up over there using code word LINERS, you're going to get 30% off of your first month. You're going to get a 7-day free trial and then a 30-day money-back guarantee. So make sure that you check that out if you want to look through all the same information. But my first pick I'm going to be taking a look at is going to be Lamar Jackson. And for him, I'm going higher than 63.5 rushing yards. In their battle last week, Lamar Jackson put up 100 yards on the ground. But this season, the Kansas City Chiefs are top 10 in most rushing yards allowed to the quarterback position. They do get pressure on the quarterback, but sometimes finishing, especially against these highly athletic quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, can be a little bit of an issue. And maybe Lamar Jackson isn't carrying the ball all day long, but it's only going to take a few chunk runs for Lamar Jackson to quickly add up those numbers. And going over the current line that he has set on Underdog, to me, just feels like something that absolutely could hit before we're even through the third quarter. But if you look at what the Kansas City Chiefs need to do to win this game, it's going to be controlling the football. The more often that Lamar Jackson has the football in his hands during this game, the less likelihood you have of winning the game. What Kansas City is going to have to do, keep the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands, but more importantly, keep the ball in Isaiah Pacheco's hands. Because if you can run the football and wear down that defense and really take a shot over and over and over and keep the football, that's going to be a recipe for success. And right now, 63.5 rushing yards is the line for Isaiah Pacheco over on Underdog. and I'm going to take the over there as well. A couple of overs on the rushing yards for the main rushers for each team. All right, but as of right now, I still have a 1-game lead on Jake for our little friendly wager that we have to see who can pick the most games correctly. But there's not going to be much of a change here because we're both going to be going with Baltimore. We love Patrick Mahomes, and we do think it's going to be a good game. We just think that Baltimore is going to be a little too much for the defending champions right now. And because of that, they're going to get the job done. Lamar Jackson is going to have himself an absolutely fantastic game. And Baltimore is going to find a way to book their trip to the Super Bowl. So Jake and I are both going to take Baltimore in this matchup. The nightcap out in San Francisco is going to be absolutely beautiful. Detroit and San Francisco kicking off at 6:30, and the weather is going to be fantastic. A little cloudy, not really any wind whatsoever. Temperatures are going to be right around 70 degrees. I mean, that's beautiful football weather. You couldn't ask for a better environment unless you were in Detroit, but hey, we're not going to go there right now. I am extremely surprised, though, that Detroit right now is a 7-point underdog, a full touchdown. Now, San Francisco is the #1 seed, and they have a great offense, and they have a great defense, and I'm not taking anything away from San Francisco. It just feels like Detroit has earned a little bit more, but that's okay. They love being the underdogs anyway, so go ahead and keep them in that position. Detroit right now, 7-point underdogs on the road at San Francisco. Now, both of my underdog picks in this matchup are going to come from the Lions side. One of the main reasons why is because as of this recording, we still don't know about Deebo Samuel and how he's going to look if he plays this week. So we're going to want to keep an eye on that here over the next couple of days. So we're going to stick on the Detroit side of the football, where on offense, we know a little bit more about what we're going to be getting from them. Now, when you discuss keys to victory for the Lions, I don't think getting into a big battle back and forth through the air is going to be what they want to do. Absolutely not at all. They're going to want to establish the run, and they're going to want to keep the football as long as possible. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are going to be the perfect way to do that. Even with the offensive line banged up a little bit right now, that's okay. They should still be able to run the football. Maybe not as easily as we've seen them do previously, but they're still going to find some gaps and some ways to create some yards. Now, Jared Goff, I'm going to go under on his passing attempts. Right now, his line on Underdog is 36 passing attempts, and I really feel like the sweet spot for the Detroit Lions in this game is going to be right around that 33-34 mark for Jared Goff. If we're throwing the ball 40 plus times in this matchup, we're really going to find ourselves with an issue where San Francisco has probably put up a double-digit point lead on the Lions, and that is not where they want to be playing from. Control the football, run the football, play your game. That's how you win this. Now, one area where the San Francisco defense showed some vulnerabilities was in the passing game against running backs. Running backs had the 7th most receiving yards this year going up against the San Francisco 49ers. And Jahmyr Gibbs, his current line of only 21.5 receiving yards, feels really good to take the higher total on. I mean, we saw how Jahmyr Gibbs was utilized last week against that pass rush from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and how they blitz. I definitely see them doing the same thing this week, where if they have some plays where they got to get the ball out quickly, it's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs who's going to be a great way to offset that pass rush, especially with the offensive line banged up like it is. All right, for Jake and I, of course, there's going to be a difference of opinion here. We are on opposite sides of the spectrum, and for me, of course, I'm picking my Detroit Lions to win this game. Now, I'm not being a crazy Lions fan. I'm not guaranteeing a victory. I'm not talking crap about Brock Purdy or the 49ers or anything like that. Absolutely respect the heck out of the 49ers. But 7-point favorites, I really think this game is going to be a lot closer than 7 points. I think Detroit is going to come to play. They're going to play well. And San Francisco, if they're not healthy and if they don't play their best game, Detroit's got an opportunity to knock them off. Jake is going to be going with San Francisco, however. Makes sense. Definitely isn't going to be picking the Lions with me. He's got a game to make up before the Super Bowl, and he's going to try and make it up right here. But Headliner Nation, there you have it. My breakdown for both championship games this weekend. Really looking forward to these matchups. Could be a couple of really, really good games, and I hope that they are. But in the comments down below, let me know who you're picking to win these matchups. Just know that if you pick the San Francisco 49ers and they do not win, I will be coming back to the comment section to let you know you were wrong. Okay, maybe I'm kidding there. But Headliner Nation, enjoy the games this week. I know that I will. Peace out, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you all on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.